feeling a bit ropey.
We've already started, by the way. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy.
Yes, we are now. And I'm Mark too.
And so I'm here with Tumbleard again. No, it's Mark LL, apparently.
Well, it was supposed to be Mark 2, which is what I typed in, but... Yeah, well, okay. I am Mark.
Yeah, unfortunately,
seeing as Mark
it's only
is
us
today...
who see what's... We're talking over each other again.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Yes, I am here again because Mark is touring a completely animated Amazon parcel delivery facility today for whatever strange reason he's decided he wants to do that.
Well, it could be that he's a personal guest of Bezos because, you know, they are in the same clubs.
No. No, I suspect when he was as rich as Bezos, you end up in a club of one. You don't have friends. You just have employees and liggers.
Yeah, especially in the shape of your wife.
Yes, well, I mean, fair dues to her. She's doing her very, very best to give away as much of the fortune as possible. But I think she still makes more money than she manages to give away.
I think that's his ex-wife, isn't it?
Oh, has he got a new wife
Who's
now?
the philanthropist? Yeah, he got married a couple of months ago.
Yes,
a ridiculously expensive ceremony. Right, just ridiculous amount of money to spend on a party.
Did they not get married in space on his giant flying penis?
No one has ever been in space on one of his penises.
No, this is true.
Not even a thing.
But he
I remember
to pretend as he grazed the upper atmosphere.
Wasn't it one of his penises that sent those 5 idiot chicks up pretending they were astronauts?
Yes. Again,
including
they
Katy
grazed
Perry.
the upper atmosphere. Yes. So in all, though, I see William Shatner's been taken to hospital with blood sugar level problems, which at 94, I suppose, is not unreasonable, really.
I mean, he is a proper astronaut because he's been
funny
where
enough,
no man has ever gone before.
Yeah, well, he again, though, I mean, you know, he only grazed the upper atmosphere, whereas Scotty, when he passed away, he was cremated, and his son
that's right, and he's actually orbiting the Earth.
To take, some of his ashes are up there orbiting the Earth, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah, very well done.
Yes. Other than that, this week I've mostly been utterly disgusted and annoyed again by bloody Donald Trump, who's going to cure autism now, apparently. He's going to cure autism.
Oh, yeah, with Tylenol.
Yeah, no, not with Tylenol. Tylenol is
depends.
The problem. So, yes, no, Tylenol is the problem, apparently. Because we know that you know, all the other ones like aspirin and things, they're all really bad for you. I watched, it was 10 minutes of his speech. It was just a blithering idiot stringing incoherent words together. And I think, and I know, politics. And I believe, and no mention of any doctors or medical research or anything. Well, then goes and tells all the parents of children with autism in America that it's okay. We're going to fix your beautiful babies. They're going to be okay.
Yeah, he's going to cure it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already stopped every war on the planet.
Jesus Christ! I mean,
if he doesn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, I don't know who will.
It's just. Oh, I mean, you know, say somebody shooting, but they tried. But that doesn't mean nobody else should try. Listeners, if any of you are out there feeling inclined, please go do it.
We do not condone assassinations on this show.
No, I'm not condoning it. I was just saying that, I wouldn't necessarily. No, but
it sounds like you're financing it.
If they went and did
what's the reward?
Well, if I had the money, I would.
Some other politician actually had his comeuppance today.
Who was that?
The ex-French Premier Sarkozy.
Oh, yeah?
Has been sentenced to 5 years in prison.
Has he?
For accepting filthy money from Colonel Gaddafi towards his premiership racketeering.
Ooh. I wonder how they do in prison. We all know coppers have a horrible time if they get sent to prison.
I mean, he's 74 or something. He's probably going to be very cosy in a little bungalow with a couple of chicks.
Yeah. I'm sure he's going to be in a as you say, a very, very comfortable, cosy little. He's not going to be doing time with rapists and murderers, is he? But still, good. It's technically politicians.
Technically, isn't it? Wasn't he at the bunga parties in Italy with the Italian Prime Minister? So he probably is guilty of rape, at least.
I mean, it appears that most of them are. It's remarkable how a bit of power goes to these people's heads. And
it goes to their dicks.
And how little they actually think of their the people they represent.
They don't represent me.
As we know from discussing yesterday, Papa Dr. Valier being a case in point.
Yeah, but although, to be fair, no one actually voted for him.
No.
Oh, except for the 12 million.
I meant to look up the population of Haiti because I've got a horrible feeling that the population of the island is a lot less than what
it's a lot less than the people that voted for him.
Yes, indeed.
But the people who are listening to this podcast actually most of them won't get to hear what we spoke about yesterday because it's on our Patreon. Yeah. So if you're curious about what we were speaking about yesterday, then you need to get onto our Patreon site, which is www.patreon.com/Strange Stuff Podcast, and either buy us a coffee or buy us a beer, and you can find out all about it.
Indeed.
And it is quite good fun. A lot of bad stuff as well, though. But anyway, on to today.
Oh, briefly before we do. So the other day, I enjoyed the 4-part Rasputin thing you Mark did. And then I heard you mentioned it on I think it was the Arthurian podcast. It came up. You just mentioned it briefly, but I happened to hear Boney M's Rasputin the other day. And I was listening to it thinking, 4 episodes it took you guys. Boney M managed it in 1 line. Did it in
2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes, but it's really down to 1 line. There was a cat that really was gone. And that's one of my favourite lyrics of all time because it absolutely sums him up completely.
I mean, especially as it was written by a German guy as well.
The song, was it?
Yeah, I mean, they were a German band.
Oh, were they?
They were a German manufactured band, a bit like Ross.
Oh, right. I always thought they were American.
No.
Oh, shit. All right.
Yeah, there was, I mean, you could sort of figure that out if you listen carefully to most of their lyrics,
actually. Well, I've fair dues to them. I mean, considering that was, the 70s, they're very, very good English.
Yeah,
it sounds like they speak English rather than just having learned the words by rote. Because I know the whole album. We had it when I was.
I'm not sure because I don't think any of them ever actually took an interview. They were basically front men for the producers. It was a bit like Milli Vanilli.
Okay.
They were responsible for nothing except being on stage and miming along.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's possible that they were miming then. So. But
anyway, they were we have digressed.
It's a great album. Yes, we have.
We've digressed a million miles away from where we're going, and actually we're going down the pub.
I'm trying to be Mark. We're going down the pub. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I thought because you're almost in London, you used to be in London, I used to be in London. So I thought what we do today is have a look at some London pubs that are still standing, hopefully, after hundreds of years in some cases. And they've survived blitzes, bombings, droughts, famines, and scamdemics, and they're still rocking today. And some of them have got some very colourful history, and it'd be interesting to find out how many of these pubs that you and I have been to or are aware of or have never even heard of. So
sounds like fun.
I'm going to start with one which is known as the Lord Morpeth.
I heard of it. I've never been there, but I have heard of it.
It's in Bow. Mile End or Bow Road is your closest tube stations, and it's not the most sinister pub to be starting off with, but it's got a bit of history and a bit of politics. The Lord Morpeth was the favoured pub of Sylvia Pankhurst and the suffragettes.
All right.
So while it's not strictly dark history, it's definitely a darker time.
Yeah.
And in case you lived under a rock and you don't know who Sylvia Pankhurst is, her mother, Emmeline Pankhurst, was sort of the figurehead of the women's rights movement in the UK. And eventually that mantle fed to Sylvia.
See, because I mean, even when I started working in pubs in the early 80s, there was still a few pubs that had the saloon and the snug, and the ladies were not allowed in the saloon.
Quite right.
Even in the 80s, there was a few pubs that still clung on to that.
I mean, the whole idea of going to the pub was to have a few sherbets and pull a bird.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand why you would want them in a separate room unless it was to actually have a few sherbets and then go in and pick one. I mean, that would have been the ideal.
Well, indeed, yes. Yeah, we'll just sit here until you guys are drunk enough and you've got your beer goggles on, and then, you just come and randomly choose one to take home with you.
Sounds ideal to me. Anyway, that's basically it for the Morpeth Arms, but the Lord Morpeth, rather. Although there is one thing to add. There is a fabulous piece of street art on the outside of the pub, and it is of Sylvia Pankhurst.
Right.
And that alone is worth the trip just to look at it. Now, we're going to cover like 17 pubs, I think. So although most people would recommend you don't try and do all 17 in one day, I absolutely recommend it. If you can do 17 of these pubs in one day and a pint in each pub, more power to you.
Yes. So I was just
curious.
Never
heard it from me.
George William Frederick Howard, 7th Earl of Carlisle, was also styled Viscount Morpeth, British statesman, orator and writer. So that's where he gets its name from.
Yes.
I don't think he did anything particularly interesting other than shit on poor people, the way they used to generally in those days.
That was their job.
Yes.
Anyway, on to number 2, the Carpenter's Arms. Now, the Carpenter's Arms is in Cheshire Street, in Shoreditch High Street, basically.
Right, don't know that one.
East London, you know what I mean, son? Which should give you a clue as to famously it was owned by the Kray twins.
Oh, okay. I thought for a minute you were going to say Jesus.
No, Jesus comes later. Although nothing explicitly bad happened in the pub, just being owned by the Krays is enough to give it a bit of a sinister history. Probably more than one member of a rival gang or even of their own organisation, the firm, was given a kick-in on the premises. It's said that they liked the pub specifically because it only had one entrance, which meant that they could keep an eye on anyone who entered. Not psychotic at all.
No. So funny enough, I wonder then, because when my parents, before I was born, living in London, they used to know this copper, London Welsh, and they used to know a copper who, he was bent, as most of them were then, and he had connections with the Krays. And on several occasions, they were taken late at night, so, lock in, to this pub over in the East End. And my mother, for years, my mother had no idea that she actually met the Krays, thought they were charming, but she had no idea who they were. It was only years later my father said to her, they were the Krays. But they used to do these lock-ins, and then they would wheel in racks and racks of knockoff fur coats and clothes and sell them.
Yeah.
In the pubs during lock-ins. So you got a bunch of drunk people buying fur coats for like tuppence halfpenny or whatever the hell a fur coat would cost in those days. So it's entirely possible that is the one.
Quite possible. It was also used actually in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right. Is that the pub where the geezer has the massive rant and the fire extinguisher?
That's Vass. Is that Vass when he picks up the fire extinguisher and spits his brandy over someone? That's a mate of mine.
Yes.
Vass Blackwood, his name is. I knew him before he was famous. He got his first big break playing Winston in the Lenny Henry show.
Oh shit! All right. Okay, I never realised that. So I used to watch the Lenny Henry show back in the day.
He used to live quite close to me when I was on Highgate Road.
Oh, okay.
Good lad. Anyway, we're digressing all over the place. So that's
we're talking about pubs. What do you expect?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, everyone's got a pub story, and we've probably got more than most. So that was the Carpenter's Arms in East London. I've got a cat situation going on.
Of course you have.
So let's move on to the 10 Bells. This one is in Whitechapel.
Yeah, again, heard of it. Never been there.
Unfortunately, for some ladies of the night, about 150 years ago, they did. So it's often associated with Jack the Ripper. Although there's no actual evidence that the Ripper drank there himself, because no one knows who the fuck he is.
Yeah.
But the bar was certainly frequented by every one of his victims, so very likely Jack himself was in that pub.
Okay.
And walking into that pub, the 10 Bells, bear this in mind, in Whitechapel.
And for anybody who's curious, it's called the 10 Bells because it can hear the bells from 10 different churches when they chime from that spot, because there is a fucking rash of churches in that part of London. They are everywhere.
Well, there needed to be in those days. The amount of funerals that were going on.
Well, indeed, yes.
Walking into the pub is like walking back in time, as the owners have worked hard to keep and maintain original fixtures and decor. It's a bit of an odd one inside, since there isn't much seating room, at least not downstairs. But it is good for a busy night out, as there's plenty of standing room without having to spill out onto the busy street and possibly get picked on by Jack.
Yes.
The pub's also popular on a Sunday afternoon, apparently, because a lot of people pop in after checking out Spitalfields, one of London's top Sunday markets.
Yeah, no, it's the one I'm thinking of. I have walked past it.
So, yeah, Commercial Street.
Yes, indeed.
Spitalfields, London East
There
one.
you go. I mean, it doesn't look particularly
exactly
Victorian with the awnings. They are definitely not original fixtures and fittings.
No, they were added, I would imagine, in the 20th century.
But it's got a great front door. I'll give it that. I mean, that is an awesome front door.
Yeah, I mean, it's got an actual portcullis almost.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is a great front door.
So the next pub is a pub you will recognise the name of. Oh, I haven't actually mentioned the Lord Morpeth. I have not had a drink in.
Right.
The Carpenter's Arms I have not had a drink in. The 10 Bells I have had a pint in. And this next one I have also had a pint in. And that's the Blind Beggar. And that's in Whitechapel. And it's a pub that's full of history. But two particularly notable things happened at the Blind Beggar. The first one, in the early 20th century, a group of pickpockets who hung around the neighbourhood were called the Blind. Yeah, very nice. Very nice pub.
It's a good-looking pub.
It's a proper pub.
Do you know what?
There was a group called the...
Get your ass over here. Yeah, I was going to say, if you ever get your ass over here again, we should go on a tour of famous London pubs.
Oh, I could easily do that. Yeah. So, yeah, one of the...
That was...
this delay is killing me. So, there was a group of pickpockets who hung around the neighbourhood. They were called the Blind Beggar Pickpockets. And in 1904... a member of the gang, a man named only as Bulldog Wallace, stabbed a man in the eye with an umbrella while inside the pub, which is probably quite fitting, given
Well, he was probably in there begging while being fully sighted. And you can't be begging in the Blind Beggar if you're fully sighted, can you, you know?
No. But it's probably most famous for being the pub where Ronnie Kray shot George Cornell.
Oh, is that the one, is it?
A member of a rival gang in 1966. Yeah.
Indeed.
The story being that Cornell had called Ronnie a fat puff a few days earlier, which understandably upset Ronnie.
And he objected to being called... Yeah, he objected to being called fat.
He said, who you calling fat?
Yeah,
because he definitely was a puff.
You know, everybody knew he was a puff. Even then, everybody knew he was a puff. It was not a secret.
At the end of the day, even Reggie liked a boy. And I have to tell you, I met Charlie Kray, the older brother, many years ago on King's Road, in the company of a very pretty young boy.
Clearly runs in the family then.
Yeah. Yeah, that brings a whole new meaning to being cock of the walk.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but apparently Cornell frequently mocked both of the twins, and Ronnie had clearly had enough. So eventually he was bound to snap. And as soon as Ronnie learned that Cornell was at the Blind Beggar that day, he rushed over, strode in, and shot him right in the noggin.
But the pub doesn't like a stupid thing to do, doesn't it? Winding up the craze just seems like.
Oh, I thought you meant shooting him in the head. Yeah, that's not a clever move.
No, it's not. No matter how
you're not going to get yourself street cred.
No.
But the pub today doesn't really capitalise on its history. The publican they have now, a chap called Dave Dobson, he wants it to be known for other things. In particular, he claims to have the finest collection of Japanese carp in the East End.
You see, if I owned a pub, I'd be going with the whole craze history thing.
I would go with them put it in the head.
Yeah, I'd be mercilessly flogging that one. I think I'd even have the white outline painted on the floor.
I would have a VR simulator where you could get shot in the head by Ronnie Kray.
Now that would make a lot of bloody money. I can guarantee
£5
there'd be a queue for that.
£5 a bullet.
Yeah, there'd be a queue for that without a doubt.
You can keep your fucking carp.
Yes.
Oh, dear God. Anyway, yeah, that's a nice little boozer to go and have a pint in with some proper East End memories. Now, if you've ever watched, talking of Jack the Ripper earlier, if you've ever watched Ripper Street, you will recognise the pub called the Brown Bear.
Yes, I know the Brown Bear.
It's still directly across from Leman Street Police Station. And Leman Street was heavily involved in the Ripper investigation, as it lies right in the middle of where the bodies of both confirmed Ripper victims and suspected Ripper victims were found. In fact, right around the corner from that pub is the Jack the Ripper Museum. However, the Brown Bear wasn't just the pub of choice for Leman Street's finest during its darkest hour. Yep, that's the one. It also has connections to London's gangster scene. Well, it would do, because it's still very much in Whitechapel. The feud between Cornell and the Krays is believed to have started following a fist fight outside of the Brown Bear, a fight that Cornell apparently won, which led him to the mocking of the Krays publicly, which ultimately led to his death. But that's not all.
He should have stopped with just winning the fight, shouldn't he?
Yeah. But the last link is a little bit tenuous. As a popular watering hole to members of the Krays organisation, the firm, the Brown Bear is supposed to be also where Tony and Chris Lambrianou and possibly others began their own London pub crawl that night that Jack McVitie, another Kray victim and former member of the firm, was murdered. A murder, incidentally, for which they later became accessories for after disposing of the body. And you can find the Brown Bear on Whitechapel Road in Shadwell, London E1. I haven't had a drink in that one.
No, I've never been in there. But I do love, Jack the Hat McVitie is a fucking great name. I
mean, who doesn't know someone who's called the Hat? I know two people called the Hat, and one of them was actually called Jack the Hat.
Okay.
But he wasn't McVitie. But I do know a Tony the Hat as well. And I asked him why they called him Tony the Hat, and it's because he never wore a hat.
That makes sense. Of course it does. Whereas, I'm glad to say, Jack the Hat clearly did wear a hat.
Yes. But so did 90% of men in those days.
Yes, indeed. This is true.
Why would you? Well, how could you differentiate by calling him the Hat?
I don't know. Maybe he was caught banging his missus while still wearing his hat. Who knows?
Very strange.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're coming into the Docklands area now, Wapping Wall in St Catherine's Dock. And the pub is called the Prospect of Whitby. And I have had a pint there.
Yes, I know it.
It was once known as the Devil's Tavern.
Okay, well, its actual name?
I think it was more by rote rather
than
by anything else. But it was because it had one of its most notorious patrons, who was Judge Jeffreys, who was more famously known as the Hanging Judge. And he was responsible for sentencing hundreds of men to death by hanging following the failed Monmouth Rebellion of 1685.
Aye, indeed.
They even have a noose still hanging from the pub window as a reminder of the judge.
He was a nasty, horrible shit. Yeah, I remember this one. It overlooks the river. Yeah, it's
absolutely
lovely
on
pub.
the river.
Yeah, it's a beautiful pub.
It still has ties to the shipping, piracy and smuggling, as this whole area of London was in fact a smuggler's haven.
Because it's an old one, because when you look at the front of it, it looks tiny.
Yeah, oh no, that's like the Doctor Who's TARDIS pub.
Yeah.
Basically backs onto the River Thames.
Yes, no, it is. I remember being there now. It's a lovely pub.
This one is also in Wapping. The town of Ramsgate, it's called.
Okay, don't know that one.
And it's hard to believe now, given the rather pleasant crowd that turns up for their weekly quiz night. But the town of Ramsgate was once the pub of choice for vagabonds, sailors and pirates, who might have liked a quiz night, but we'll never know.
I'm sure they did.
Just around the side of the pub is a set of stairs leading down to the Thames. Although they seem a little bit out of place now, These were once execution docks where pirates were sent to their death.
Ah, okay. There you go.
Yep. The patrons of the town of Ramsgate would cheer as fellow pirates were hanged by short nooses. And they used short nooses because it took longer and therefore they suffered.
Yeah, you didn't dive, you didn't snap your neck.
You didn't snap your neck.
Drop wasn't long enough, so you literally choked to death.
At low tide, you can still see the chains where they shackled the pirates who were waiting their turn.
Nice. I'm surprised nobody's nicked them and sold them on eBay.
They probably have, without actually nicking them. I mean, you could, if you look for them on eBay, you'll probably find 200-300 sets of them.
Yeah.
In 1688, just outside the pub, or maybe even in it, Judge Jeffreys was spotted and attacked by an angry mob. He was likely heading home from his favourite pub, the Prospect of Whitby, just down the road. From the town of Ramsgate, Judge Jeffreys was taken to the Tower of London, where he eventually died of kidney complications due to excessive drinking.
He was a raving alcoholic. I mean, he was pissed. He was pissed in when he was on the well, it's not the bench, is it? Where do the judges sit?
In the dock.
Yes, but no, he's not.
The convict's in the dock.
No, yeah,
he's
yeah, and the QC sit on the bench, whatever he sits on. But yeah, he was notorious. He was a raving alcoholic. He was pissed permanently. But
I'm pretty sure that most people would have rather see him hanged than died from alcohol poisoning.
Oh God, yeah. No, he was reviled. So much so that he's still notorious these days.
In December of 1787, Captain Bligh and Fletcher Christian of the HMS Bounty were said to have had their last drink at that pub before that infamous voyage.
Ah, okay.
Which I don't know if you're aware, but me and Mark did a whole episode on the Bounty a few weeks ago.
It's a good story, the mutiny on the Bounty.
It is a great story, and as we brought up in the episode, 95% of the population today probably think it's just a film or a book.
Yes. Yeah, more than likely.
Never happened. But anyway, that's also at St Catherine's Dock. And well worth a visit, town of Ramsgate. If we stay in Wapping, Turner's Old Star.
Oh, never heard of that one.
Now, there is a plaque regarding the original publican, James Turner, drawn in by the phrase Turner's Secret Life. Apparently, he was a bit of a philanderer. Bit boring. Okay. But there's another plaque on the wall, which says, Site of Witchcraft, Lydia Rogers, found guilty of allowing the devil to draw blood from her hand to form an evil pact, confessed her crimes to a minister in the year of our Brian 1658.
It's one of those pubs I like because clearly everything around it got bombed the shit out of.
Yes, but the pub still stands.
So they knocked everything else down, but they left the pub. You get a lot of these in London. They just kind of take the corner up on its own, and you think, why the hell would they build it like that? But it wasn't. It was attached once upon a time.
Yep.
So what nefarious things happened there then? The Turner Old Star.
Well, that was basically it. It's just got a history of being associated with witchcraft.
Well, witches have to drink somewhere.
Yeah, of course. You can't always get your Eye of Newton.
Oh, mate, I've had plenty of covens drinking pubs I've worked in before now, sitting in the corner cackling.
There's a few witches live near me now, I can tell you.
I'm sure.
Now, just south of the Thames, not my area, you will find the Anchor Bankside. And there's some dispute over when this particular pub was actually established. Official records state 1822, but the belief is that it was around a lot longer than that. Rumour has it that Shakespeare was fond of the Anchor.
Where is it?
On the South Bank. It's London Bridge.
Okay, so it'd be near the Globe then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would make sense. Although saying that, if it only opened in 18 something or other.
No, but that's what I say. The rumour is it was around a lot longer before.
Well, if Shakespeare was drinking there, then it definitely was. Yeah, another great looking pub.
That's the way a pub should look.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's also believed that Samuel Pepys watched London burning during the Great Fire of London, and I'm not talking about the TV show, in 1666. Of course, there's other records.
After he's buried his Parmesan cheese in his back garden.
Probably. There's other records that the land beneath was used for plague pits in the early 1600s.
I mean, London's full of rumours like that, and most of them are not plague pits.
No. They're just poor people's cemeteries.
Yes.
In 1850, the Austrian butcher, one of our very early serial killers, Julius Jacob von Heino, was seen drinking at this pub, and he was chased down the street and viciously attacked by a mob. As his name suggests, he kind of deserved it. He did manage to escape, and it became known as an international incident that threatened British and Austrian relations.
What year was this?
1850.
Oh, yeah. Well, Austria would go to war with anybody at the drop of a hat at this point. I mean, they went to war with pretty much everybody in Europe at that point, didn't they?
And last, but certainly not least, we get our first ghost.
All right.
It's said to be haunted by a ghost dog.
Okay.
And the ghosts of small children. The dog was once the loyal four-legged friend of a man who was attacked by a gang while drinking one night. The dog jumped him to protect him, but was tragically taken down by one of the men who slammed his tail in a door to cut it off before killing him.
Ouch.
He now haunts the pub and is said to howl in sorrow over his lost owner and tail, probably.
There's a pub in Bury St Edmunds called The Nutshell, and it is...
Bury St Edmunds?
Yeah.
I didn't even know he died.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Sorry. Irresistible, that one.
It's tiny. I mean, there is enough seating for 4 people along one bench, and you could probably get 15 people in there standing, but it's rammed. It is tiny. But what they do have was there's a mummified cat which they have in a glass case above the bar, which was found in the walls of the pub. Ooh. It dates back to the days when they used to brick up a cat in buildings because apparently it's good luck or it keeps witches away.
Not for the cat.
No, not for the cat. Absolutely not. But
fucking who thinks up these ideas?
I know. But the nice thing about the one in The Nutshell is that there's the cat, but there's also a mummified rat, which they found in the same wall with it.
Probably like a last request or a last final meal. Like. Yeah. But he decided that, we're in this together now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fucking hell, what is wrong with people?
Oh, God knows, mate.
I know how we can bring good luck. Do cruelty to an innocent beast.
Yes.
Fucking idiots.
But, I mean, it's not quite as bad as the town, isn't there? They still do it, but they do it with toy cats now. But somewhere in Germany, I think it is, where for good luck and to keep away evil, once a year they used to take tons of cats up the top of a bell tower and throw them off.
Fuck, we'll see if they land on all fours or what.
Yeah, well, no, I think the idea was that they should die. They didn't survive. It's quite a tall tower. But now they still do it every year. They still have the festival. Tourists go there. They buy little stuffed cats and then go up to the top of the tower and throw it off.
So they're celebrating the murder of thousands of poor, helpless kitties.
Yeah.
I hate them all.
Yeah.
Well, the other ghosts in the Anchor Bankside are said to be of the small children who died nearby whilst mudlarking or as we call it, looking for shit on the banks of the Thames.
Yeah. But
Patrons of...
why would they be in the pub? If they died on the banks of the Thames, why would they haunt the pub?
I guess over the years, as they got older, they decided that they...
So once they were 18...
They can have a drink while they're haunted.
18-year-old ghosts, they were allowed into the pub.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
So patrons have reported seeing muddy footprints appear at random throughout the pub.
Oh, what, in a pub? Muddy footprints on the floor?
Yeah, in a pub next to the Thames.
In that case, every pub I've ever owned is haunted by children then.
But pub or no pub, until 1822, the Clink prison was also located just around the corner until 1780.
Oh, right, okay.
Which was notoriously horrific. The point is, it's old and it's in London, and something dark and sinister definitely went on. So remember, next time you're enjoying a pint at the Anchor, you might be drinking on the bodies of the dead.
Again,
but there's quite a lot of history.
Anywhere in London, chances are you are drinking on the bodies of the dead somewhere, aren't you?
And if you wait long enough, you'll see a fresh one.
Yes. So was the Clink its real name?
The Clink was its real name, and that is where people started referring to going to prison as going to the Clink.
Yeah. But and presumably the name, I always assume the name comes from the sound the chains around your ankles make as you shuffle about. You clink.
I don't know. Can you get off my mouse, Matt? You're killing me here.
Oh, okay. No, it was known as that because the prison served the Liberty of the Clink, a local manor area owned by the Bishop of Winchester.
Oh.
Why was it known as the Liberty of the Clink? It doesn't give an etymology or why it's called that.
Well, anyway, there's a lot of history in that pub, and if you fancy a pint there, south of the water, London Bridge, the Anchor Bankside. I haven't actually been there myself.
No, I haven't been there either.
Now, we're going to another one with a similar name to one we did earlier, the Morpeth Arms this time.
Right. I think I have been there.
That's in Westminster, 58 Millbank, Pimlico, basically. Beneath this relatively standard British pub are some of the largest remnants of the demolished Millbank prison.
Oh, okay.
Millbank prison was so severely affected during the cholera outbreak of 1854 that scientist John Snow...
Very Jordan. Very, very Georgian.
Yes. Scientist John Snow, during some of his downtime, during doing Game of Thrones, came to investigate. And he used the prison...
He was the cholera guy in Soho, wasn't he? The one who kept taking the pump handle away, yeah.
Yes, exactly. He used the prison as the testing ground for his hypotheses that the disease was spread through water, not air.
Oh, so he essentially gave half the prisoners dirty water and then waited to see what would happen.
Yeah, he must have.
Yeah.
I mean, he must have had a sample group.
Yeah.
So essentially, every time you drink a bottle of tap water in the area and you don't get cholera, you can thank John Snow, but also some of London's most violent criminals. Today,
yes, indeed,
several of the prison cells still exist in the basement of the Morpeth Arms.
Oh, shit.
Although this London pub isn't officially haunted itself, bar staff have reported serious feelings of unease whilst being in those cells. So would I.
Yeah, well, yeah.
As well as items going missing or being moved. Sounds like any pub in London.
Absolutely.
In fact, this became so commonplace that video surveillance was installed to watch the basement, and you can sometimes catch it while sitting at the bar. Staff used to take people down to the cells. I fucking bet they did.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they were around particularly late or early.
I'm sure they still do.
No, apparently they had to put a stop to it due to health and safety.
Oh.
But don't despair.
Because, I mean, it's got to be one of the best pickup lines ever, isn't it? I've got a cell downstairs, which
do you want to see my dungeon?
Yeah.
But there is another dark side to the Morpeth Arms. On the second floor is the spying room. And because of its location, you can look out at MI6 and spy on the spies.
Ah. What, the current MI6?
Yes, apparently.
But then that wouldn't have been MI6 back in the day then, would it?
Would it be MI5?
Well, no, their offices now, which everybody knows where it is on the River Thames, but that wasn't until, what was it, the mid-90s when they moved there. That wasn't their headquarters. It was over in Whitehall prior to that, I think.
Yeah. But apparently a lot of MI6 employees reportedly drink at the pub.
Right.
So if you do include it on your pub crawl, keep your fucking trap shut.
Mm-hmm. Or take a friend with a very, very thick Russian accent and talk in codes.
And make plans.
Make plans just for the fun of it.
Yeah, because what's the worst that can happen?
Well, indeed.
Now, have you ever been to a pub that's got such a joyful and sort of nonsense name as the Hoop and Toy?
Okay, don't know this one.
It's in Thurlow Place in Kensington, South Kensington.
Right. Well, I never did hang around a lot in Kensington.
Now, apart from
I
the
didn't
name,
have enough money.
I lived in Kensington for a while, in South Kensington, in fact.
Until Kensington Council asked you to leave, huh?
No, I was working in that's it. I was working in a hotel as a breakfast chef while I was still at school.
Oh, shit, okay.
I used to cook breakfast in the morning and then go to school. And for that, I got my room and board and £25 a week.
Yeah, that was a reasonable amount of pay for that kind of thing back in those days.
It was like an hour and a half work in the morning, Monday to Friday.
And I mean, in the very early 80s, I could take a pub with two of my mates with a fiver in my pocket and we'd all get drunk.
Yeah, and a cab home.
Yeah, 40, 50p.
And some chicken and chips.
Yeah, 40 or 50p for a pint. You used to be able to get a lot. You can't even get one pint for a fiver anymore.
No, but the Hoop and Toy is supposed to be pretty damned haunted.
Yeah.
Or at least the basement is. The pub is said to be built on a former grave site, like most pubs.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's not entirely clear how long this has been going on. Since this pub has been on the site since 1760, which is the oldest one in Kensington, but many iterations have existed, and the current building only dates back to just after World War II due to rather extensive bombing in the area.
No.
Nevertheless, the belief is that the ghosts of priests who were buried beneath the pub's foundations were agitated during underground building works on the tube. Shut that noise off! God damn it, we're trying to do a sermon.
Bollocks, they're priests. They smelt the alcohol.
Yeah. Apparently the tube works both disturbed their peaceful afterlife and cut off their route to the monasteries and churches of London. I would have thought it would have made it easier. Well, they could just jump on the tube instead of floating down whatever tunnels they had previously.
Well, clearly they used to just walk a short way down a tunnel rather than go and sit on a tube that got delayed and...
Well, they'd probably have to stand now.
Yeah.
Anyway, as such, the ghosts are doomed to haunt the basement of the Hoop and Toy forever, searching for alternative paths to their places of worship. Oh, and also Alfred Hitchcock used to drink there.
Oh, okay.
It has a pretty decent comedy scene, apparently.
Right.
And part of the pub is called the South Kensington Comedy Club. And they do stand-up comedy every Saturday, if that's your bag.
I mean, I would imagine that Alfred Hitchcock probably had an apartment or house round the corner.
Oh, South Kensington, definitely.
Yeah. Because this is something that, he's got, this famous person used to drink here. They didn't drink there because they had a thing about your pub. They drank there because that was the nearest boozer to their flat.
Yeah. The next pub you probably have had a pint in. I know I have. It's the Marlborough Head.
Yes.
And it's located in what was once the village of Tyburn, but is now better known as Marble Arch. Between the 12th century and 1783, Tyburn had a pretty sinister reputation as the execution capital of southern England.
Well, it was. I mean, the Tyburn tree.
Yeah. No one knows the exact number of hangings that took place there, but it's estimated to be in the thousands.
Yes.
Yes.
There you go. Although I did discover years ago now that the old term, I'll have one more for the road, also comes from the
road
tree.
Yeah, the road was the road to the tree.
Well, you got to Oxford Circus, and then after that you were in the countryside pretty much. And along that stretch they used to take them in carts, and they would stop outside one more for the road, where they would be given a half a pint of gin to neck, because it made them more compliant, and it was easier to hang them if they had they got less screamy and fighty. And so that's where the term one more for the road comes from.
Well, as the Marlborough Head was located quite near to where the gallows were, many of the spectators, and get this, sometimes upwards of 20,000 of them, drank there before and after. In fact, hanging days were so popular that they were often declared a public holiday. Whole families would go there to drink and watch.
Yes.
Because no Netflix.
No, indeed. And you'd have pie sellers and, vendors of this and that. And
rat on a stick.
Yeah. And I presume that the Marlborough Head gets its name from the Duke of Marlborough, who...
Absolutely.
...tried a coup, didn't he? Who was it he tried to... which king did he try to replace? Was it Elizabeth I? No, it was after that. James I or one of them.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah, but he tried a coup and failed and ended up getting his head chopped off at the Tower of London.
It's possible that the word hangover comes from those hanging days.
Oh, shit. Yes, never thought about that, but it makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
As the hanging celebrations usually lasted into the next day.
Yeah.
And people didn't go to work because of their unfortunate drinking headaches.
Yes.
So a hangover was the excuse.
That makes perfect sense.
And it's also quite likely that many of those being executed would have been permitted a final drink at the Marlborough beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And if all that gruesome history isn't enough, the Marlborough Head is still haunted by many ghosts of former convicts who were hung at Tyburn. So that's Audley Street in Mayfair.
And if any of the listener is curious, the Tyburn tree is now where Marble Arch, literally where Marble Arch is. The Marble Arch was built on the very same site.
Okay, while we're in Mayfair, same area, the Coach and Horses.
Right, and now I've been to so many Coach and Horses in
London.
London.
I've been to a Coach and Horses in Streatham.
Yes.
I mean, they're everywhere. There isn't a lot of information about this particular pub, but we believe that it was named for the ghosts that haunt it, rather than it being an unlikely coincidence that the ghosts...
So my internet has come up with 6 different Coach and Horses.
Yeah.
Five of them are within a 10-mile radius of where I am right now, and one of them is in Soho. Is this the one in Soho?
No, this is in Mayfair.
Mayfair, right.
This story goes that since the late 1800s, there have been regular sightings in the area.
Ooh.
People claim that a coach pulled by 4 horses can be seen being driven by a phantasmic figure. And as the figure approaches...
Because it's a weird looking little pub.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is. I've got a different angle on my picture, but that is the
Yeah. There's a couple of angles here because, as I say, you get that angle... And then there's that angle.
Yeah, that's more the angle I have.
Yeah, but that's a very, very odd looking little pub.
So as the figure of the Coach and Horses approaches, passerbys would sometimes scream as they realised that the driver was headless. It's also reported that sometimes his passengers who have skulls instead of fleshy faces,
Mm-hmm.
would stare out at them with empty, sunken eyes as they passed by.
Well, when you're a skull, it's hard to stare at with anything other than empty, sunken eyes, isn't it?
Unless you've got a pair of Ray-Bans.
This is
you
true.
look kind of cool.
Cool, yeah.
So that's it. Number 5, Bruton Street in Mayfair. Don't forget to make that one of the last calls, just so that you've got like 15 or 16 pints in you, because that is conducive to a ghost sighting.
Yeah.
I can tell you that from experience. Now, we spoke about Jon Snow. Mm-hmm. He's actually got a pub named after him as well.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
The Jon Snow pub. And that is in Soho.
Yes, I've drunk there more than once.
I have had many a beverage in there myself. But I don't think there's a pub in Soho that hasn't been darkened by either of us.
No, indeed.
No, it's not named.
You know, a nice looking pub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that they're always on a corner.
Yes.
And I think they built them that way specifically so that when your wife came a-looking, you could get out the other door.
So, yes.
Named not after the Game of Thrones character, as we know, but the English physician who figured out that cholera was transmitted through water. And throughout his mapping process, he figured that alcoholics weren't suffering from the disease as much as those who didn't partake in alcohol. Mm-hmm. So the thing was to drink beer, not water, if you wanted to stay healthy.
And up until that point, people mostly had, small beer for breakfast. I think to a degree the small beer thing kind of disappeared, didn't it? When after London went gin crazy for like 50 years and everybody was absolutely slaughtered and a lunatic. Yeah.
So alcoholism was partially responsible for many people surviving the cholera outbreak. And today, Snow is considered one of the fathers of epidemiology and often credited with ending cholera. His discoveries concerning cholera led to drastic adjustments in water filtration systems throughout the UK.
Well, first move, do not build your goddamn septic tank 3 foot away from your drinking water well.
Yeah. So if you are going to go on this epic pub crawl, make sure to stop by the Jon Snow and pay your respects to the man who made it possible to drink water again. Oh no, hang on a minute. No. Fuck you, Jon Snow. So not quite Soho, but Covent Garden, the Lamb and Flag.
Yeah, no,
on Rose Street. By the turn of the 19th century, the Lamb and Flag had acquired a pretty sinister reputation.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The pub was known for its bare-knuckle prize fights, and so cutthroat were these fights that the pub was often referred to by its nickname, the Bucket of Blood.
Okay, no, I did not know this bit.
Delving back a bit further...
Oh, yeah, I remember the one. It's the one down the little courtyardy recess thing, isn't it?
Yeah, Lazenby Court.
Yes, indeed, yes.
Back in 1679, the poet John Dryden was attacked in the alleyway just outside the Lamb and Flag by several thugs, and they were hired by his long-standing rival, John Wilmot, the Earl of Rochester. What a cad.
There is the alleyway.
Yeah. But today, Covent Garden's pretty safe and pretty touristy, so you're unlikely to find yourself getting attacked by thugs or getting into a bloody fight. But you might have your phone nicked or your pockets picked.
There is always that.
Like the Hoop and Toy, the Lamb and Flag is also a popular comedy spot. They have open mic nights every Sunday at 7:30. It's free entry, and at the end of the night, you pay what you think it was worth.
Which would be nothing then.
Which would be generally pretty small beer.
I've never been to a comedy open mic, but I've unfortunately had to work many, many musical open mic nights. And
oh, dear God.
Nobody with any talent was ever discovered at an open mic night.
No. So now we're coming into my growing up stamping ground, the Flask in Highgate.
All right, don't know that one.
Very nice pub at the top of Highgate Hill.
That well.
Top of Highgate Hill, just across the road from Hampstead Heath. Absolutely wonderful pub. About 10-minute walk from Highgate Cemetery.
Yeah.
The Flask has got a good deal of dark and haunted history.
Okay. I mean, it looks very pretty. You've got a lovely beer garden.
Oh, yeah. And the beer garden extends on more than one side.
Yeah.
The first ghost is that of a young soldier who can be seen walking across the bar and vanishing into a pillar. And the second and more well-known ghost is that of a young girl who's said to have hung herself when she found out her love for the pub owner was unrequited. Her spirit still haunts the Flask, and she's often spotted by patrons.
Okay.
It's also reported to have housed one of the first ever autopsies. The body was likely procured at Highgate Cemetery, as at the time grave robbing was very common. Both the Flask and another pub that we're going to talk about next, the Spaniards Inn, are a bit far out of the city, so you're unlikely to include them in this pub crawl. But if you can, I highly recommend both of them.
I wonder if they nicked Karl Marx's body and had an autopsy on that.
Maybe because he is a Highgate Cemetery resident.
Yeah, and there's a lot of famous people you could dig up from Highgate Cemetery. And, if you've got to do that kind of thing, it's a lot more of a giggle if you can go, and this is the famous Marxist. Well, I don't know if he was known as a Marxist.
No, not until much later.
Yeah.
So the Spaniards Inn.
That one I know. I have been there.
Hampstead. I mean, I think if you've ever been to Hampstead, you've been to either the Spaniards Inn or the Jack Straw's Castle or the Flask. The Spaniards Inn might be one of the most haunted pubs in London. So if you're looking for ghosts in particular, this is the place to go.
Yeah. See, and now this one, though, this is a standalone.
Yes.
But this would have been built as a standalone. It would have been an old coach house or a coaching stop.
It would have been a coaching stop.
So that would have been built like that in the first place.
Yeah. People come from all over the world to ghost hunt in Spaniards Inn. There are 3 main ghosts associated with the pub, although people speculate that there are even more. The most famous, of course, is that of Dick Turpin, notorious highwayman.
That was his stretch, wasn't it? That was his stretch. Up what is effectively the M1 these days, but from London up. Yeah, that was his stretch, indeed.
Yeah. He was believed to have been born at the Spaniards Inn, as his father used to be the landlord.
Oh, okay.
And Turpin used the pub as a hideout during his time as an outlaw. And today, both he and his horse, Black Bess, are said to haunt its premises. Another ghost is that of Juan Porrero.
See, I like the idea of a ghost horse wandering up to the pub and the bartender, going, "I've got whiskey named after you." And it going, "What, Black Bess?" And the bartender going, "Oh, fuck, doesn't work with a black horse, does it?"
Another ghost is that of Juan Porrero, who died in a duel with Francesco Porrero, probably his brother.
Why did they come all the way from Spain to have a duel in Hampstead?
The Spaniards Inn.
Okay, yes. But that doesn't necessarily mean Spaniards ever drank there.
But they duelled over the love of the same woman.
Yeah, would be brothers then.
Juan is said to have been buried on the land the pub was built on. I presume he lost.
Yeah.
And continues to haunt it to this day. And the third ghost is that of a woman dressed in white who often appears in the garden, and nothing much seems to be known about her origins. So if you want to check out the Spaniards Inn, you can go to Spaniards Road in Hampstead and have a pint there. It's a very, very nice pub, actually. And that was it, unfortunately.
All of them. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. That was our 17 pub crawl.
Fair enough. Well, that was a very nice pub crawl. I did expect you to end up in Soho, but
No, I went the other way. I could have started in Highgate and worked into town. But as I spent more time living in Highgate than I did living in Soho,
yes,
I sort of went the other way.
yeah. But then,
Anyway.
you know, any area of London you go to, old pubs are everywhere. I lived in Greenwich. I mean, the amount of old pubs in Greenwich are insane because obviously you used to have the docks there years ago.
Yeah, and they've all got history.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, the Cutty site is beautiful. I mean, it's I don't know, it's probably mock Tudor, but it's a gorgeous building. But the Gypsy Moth, named after what was his name? Shea Bly's boat, the first guy to sail single-handed around the world.
Yep.
Although I suspect it was renamed the Gypsy Moth because the pub looks a lot older than Shea Bly and his boat ever did. But yeah, you know, I mean, any area of London, it's just walk into a pub. It's got a history. I mean, even if it's called the Slug and Lettuce or it's a bloody, Weatherspoons these days, and a lot of them have been renamed. But
the buildings are still hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
They have had many identities.
Oh, yeah,
I'd like to just point out that I stole this wholesale from another website called Cultura Obscura, and the list was actually put together by a couple of guys called Dagny and Jeremy, so I just want to give them credit for that.
Fair dues.
To let them know that I stole their work unashamedly, and thanks for doing that for me.
It's nice when somebody else does the research.
Yeah, but it's also nice to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Anyway, that brings us to the end of this wonderful week's episode, and also the end of our little Strange Stuff podcast collaboration.
Yes.
Because next week Mark will return.
So it'll be snacks, leg of lamb in the oven, and the normal, usual, I haven't got a fucking clue what's going on or what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And what was his name again? Anyway, if you'd like to hear more of me and Richard, you can join us on our Patreon channel for the Murdery Bits, where we do something nasty every week. And if not, no big deal. But thanks for listening. See you the same time next week with Mark. In the meantime, have yourselves a strange week. And if you do go on that pub crawl, let us know how you got on and how many pints you got down you.
Oh,
Bye
absolutely.
for now.